Welcome to Just Coca 2022, a two-day webinar featuring 4 workshops exploring coca leaf and coca products, their uses, safety, medical applications, and regulatory challenges. My name is Raj Puri. I'm an environmental anthropologist and convene the Ethnobotany program in the School of Anthropology and Conservation at the University of Kent in Canterbury in the UK. I'm also the director of the Centre of Biocultural Diversity, our research group of staff, students, and alumni at Kent that focus on the complex, intimate, and inextricable relationships between cultural and biological diversity. I invite you to visit our website and find out more about our exciting research, educational opportunities, and outreach efforts. Now, the multidimensional relationships that link people and coca, which will be discussed over the next 2 days, are indeed exemplary of what we mean by biocultural diversity, that the name coca is derived from the Quechua cuca, meaning tree, tells us of its high psychological salience to Andean peoples, where it's believed to have been domesticated 8,000 years ago. Botanically speaking, the local category of coca is a multi-species complex involving 2 species, Erythroxylum coca and Erythroxylum novagranatense, and at least 4 varieties, and when masticated is combined with several more plant species, such as chamira, that have additional pharmacological effects and make the chew sweeter to taste. Now, finding a use for a single plant is an incredible achievement in itself, but developing complex recipes from multiple plants is real genius. Now, across its range from the Andes to the Amazon and through millennia of use, people from a great variety of ethno-linguistic communities have developed and shared traditions of knowledge, practice, and beliefs for coca's cultivation and medicinal, nutritional, and ceremonial uses. For 5 million South Americans today, it is still vitally important. To quote Dr. Timothy Plowman, coca not only furnishes a mild stimulant and sustenance for working under harsh environmental conditions, but also serves as a universal and effective household remedy for a wide range of medical problems. The traditional use of coca also plays a crucial symbolic and religious role in Andean society. Its use is accompanied by complex rituals, ceremony, and protocol, such that coca functions as a focus of cultural and social integration. Chewing coca is the most profound expression of Andean culture, and that, if coca were taken away from them, their traditional culture would rapidly disintegrate. Similarly, Dr. Caroline Konzelman reports a common refrain amongst the Yungas of Bolivia is that coca is, quote, part of everything. It's integral to life. The use of coca for cocaine production has, of course, had severe, and for many Andean and Amazonian peoples, tragic consequences along economic, political, environmental, healthcare, and cultural dimensions. And I'm sure I won't be the first here to repeat the arguments made for more than half a century now that the psychological experience of cocaine use is entirely different than chewing coca leaves in a traditional setting, and that this difference needs to be better understood by those in the global north, in particular, those that seek to criminalize and demonize both traditional use and expanding contemporary uses, which we'll discuss here as well. But this is Just Coca, aptly named to reflect our focus on coca alone, and also to find ways to promote a more just legal environment for coca use to flourish. In the battle to secure the right to the continued use of one's heritage, coca has become a potent symbol for the human rights of Andean people writ large. I'm not sure I'm not alone here, and looking forward over the next 2 days to hearing from our esteemed speakers about the latest in these efforts to change minds and reform legislation, and hope that these reports fall upon the eagerly listening ears of those in position to advance and expedite these efforts. The Center for Biocultural Diversity is pleased to be among the organizers of this event, and I'd like to thank Kenzie Ribole Zamuli and Fabian Steinmetz for coming to us with this marvelous idea. Really, they and other organizers deserve our appreciation. We are also pleased that Just Coca could be included as the third webinar in our People and Psychoactive Plants series. The series is convened by Dr. Axel Klein, medical anthropologist and former long-term editor of the journal Drugs and Alcohol Today, and an affiliate fellow here at the Center for Biocultural Diversity. He writes, all over the world, plants are cultivated, harvested, processed, and consumed in order to alter human perception, shift moods, and enhance our thought processes. Classificatory practices in recent years have been heavily influenced by legal and normative pressures and have tended to focus on synthetic or derived substances that were labeled psychoactive or mind or mood altering. Often these classifications come with an implicit assumption that there is a neutral or default mental state, which is often called sober, and by extension, rational. Our assumption in this webinar series is that the relationship between people and plants is much more pervasive and extensive, that people have historically been resorting to a wide range of plant-based substances that would continuously impact on perceptions and mood. In fact, I'd guess that you're probably holding one in your hand right now. In human adaptation to landscapes, the selection and propagation of plants that produce particular mind-opening and mood-enhancing effects was probably a consistent driver. And the production of plants with particularly powerful or desired effects, often to coincide with festivals that were timed along with the natural calendar, may well have been one of the precursors to agriculture. In most agricultural societies, the cultivation and collective consumption of a particular privileged plant takes a central place in social life and is integral to spiritual life and religion, as we see here with coca. According to Weston LeBar, the production of plants and their processing into substances that are taken and enjoyed for the effect they have on mind and mood is a feature that defines what it is to be human. Though this is found across all cultures, there are also such differences in the appearance and the effect that the universality is not often recognized. Plant products from exotic or alien cultures are therefore often stigmatized as drugs and socially excluded, while native substances are celebrated, their effect trivialized, and their character is often occluded, a process that is exponentially intensified with commodification. With the commercialization of almost all aspects of consumption and the disenchanting and desacralizing effect this is having on plants, their producers, and the consumers, the public discourse today is structured by the psychoactive drugs model and dominated by regulative and public health concerns. The concerns over possible harms have given a charter to violent repressive measures ranging from the incarceration of consumers to the destruction of fields in the name of crop eradication. The starting point of this seminar series, then, is that the repressive approach that has been taken by most governments and is anchored in the United Nations Drug Control Conventions is conceptually deeply flawed and is responsible for creating many of the problems, including criminality and such acute health harms as overdose deaths and the spread of blood-borne viruses that are often associated with the substances themselves. Now, we have available on the CBCD YouTube channel panelist interviews and the full recordings of our first two webinars, Tobacco, 15 years after the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, and From Menace to Medicine, Cannabis in Transition. Please do give those a listen for a similar take on shifting paradigms in the perception and use of psychoactive plants. Indeed, our aim in this series is to shift the paradigm by moving the discussion to different topics. We're looking at different plants, tobacco, cannabis, opium, poppy, coca, grapes, and hops, with a view to destigmatize and renormalize plants that have been or are being demonized. We recognize that there are serious health harms that need to be considered, but advocate low-tech fixes that involve consultation, dialogue, and socialization. These seminars are part of an effort to remove the stigma and to devise a new model of social regulation. Up next, we hope for a seminar on the grain and the grape, exploring alcohol's changing place in our society. Again, many thanks to the organizers and sponsors and all the speakers to come for their generosity and skills in putting together such an impressive program. Let's hope we have equally attentive listeners and active participants to enliven the discussions. Thank you all for listening. I shall now make way for the main event and wish you all an enjoyable and enlightening 2 days at Just Coca 2022. Thank you.